A professional speed ramp isn't just cool, it goes viral. Let's break down all the successful components of a viral speed ramp. It's timed to the music beat. It's smooth. The transitions feel like butter. And it's got that extra secret sauce, the thing that changes it from a bad speed ramp into a viral one. Wait, so I can do all of this inside of CapCut? I don't need to learn After Effects? Get out of here. Let me show you. A super professional viral speed ramp all starts with one thing: insanely good footage. Now, not all of us have the opportunity to shoot our own footage, so the footage I'm going to be using today, I'm going to share with you. I've spent hours finding it online, and you can download all of it completely free. So check out the description to find all the footage I'm using in today's video. The first part of actually editing your speed ramp isn't to do with cutting or trimming or speed ramping at all. It's all to do with your music selection. And this is so crucial because your music sets the tone for the speed ramp. Any video that goes viral on social media needs to hook our viewer within the first 2 to 3 seconds. So when I'm listening to my song, I try find a portion with a kind of ramp up, and then within the first 2 seconds, that beat needs to drop and we need to get into the speed ramp. I find that this portion of the song is really nice, and this beat kind of marks where I want to enter into my speed ramp. So I'm going to trim everything up until a couple seconds before that. Now we can drag that song into the start. I'm just going to apply a slight crossfade. I think that's going to sound really nice. Once you have your song on your timeline, it's time to start sorting through your footage. Now, I find personally that it helps in the story and the speed ramp to start wider with a shot and then move closer in. Let me show you what I mean. I think this exterior wide of our house is going to be a fantastic first shot. This is because we're outside and we're actually going to be moving in. Once your first shot is on your timeline, scrub through it and find the most stable portion. I can see there's a little jump here, so I'm going to go ahead and click Q to trim that top off. This looks all really stable to me, and then we can trim from about here. I'm going to go ahead and select that and click Stabilize. Because my footage was already pretty stable, I'm going to change recommended to minimum cut, and you'll see that we don't crop into our footage nearly as much. But stable footage is only one component of a viral speed ramp. We've already touched on music and now stabilizing the clip. Let's actually get to speed ramping. For my first shot, I want to have it tracking back and then speed ramp into the house. How I'm going to do that is by clicking on my clip and selecting reverse. Once my reverse is applied, I'm going to apply our first speed ramp by going to speed and then curve and selecting flash in. I'm then going to drag our first arrow all the way up to 10 times, delete our second, and drag this out slightly to create a smoother speed ramp curve. Let's go ahead and see how that looks. That looks great to me. From here, we're going to go ahead and duplicate our clip by holding down Alt and dragging right to the side of it. Select on my clip and click reverse. One thing that's super crucial to note about CapCut is when you click reverse on a clip, your speed ramp doesn't get reversed at all. So in our first clip, we had the clip move in fast and then slow down. And on our second clip, we want to have the clip start slowed down, drag this over, and have it speed up as we move into the house. Now this is where we get to create the smooth as butter transitions, the third part of creating a viral speed ramp. Select on your first clip and create a compound clip by clicking Alt-G on both of our clips. You now should have 2 separate compound clips. I'm going to zoom into my timeline slightly. We know that that first beat where we want to transition to inside the house is right there. So selected on my clip, I'm going to click Command R and drag our timer all the way up. Do it for both clips. Because CapCut has a natural limit on the speed curve of 10 times, which is represented right there, we need to create a compound clip in order to speed up that 10 times and reduce the duration of our clip. Let's go ahead and see how this looks. On the topic of viral videos, incredible speed ramps, and professional editing, I've made a course, CapCut Lab. It contains 28 lessons, 7 hours and 27 minutes of video content. I actually don't know how I did that, and everything that I know about video editing and CapCut in general. If you're keen to level up your editing and make professional video edits, check out the first link in the description. As cool as our intro looks already, it doesn't contain something that differentiates it, the secret sauce, from other speed ramps. So wait until the end and I'll show you how to apply something that's going to grab your viewers' attention as soon as they see your video. But now that we know the fundamental of speed ramping, let's go ahead and apply those principles to the rest of our timeline. Because we're tracking forward in this shot, I want to find a shot that tracks forward and kind of moves into the house. I think this shot right here is super stable and could be a good representation of us moving from outside the house almost through the door into the house. Again, I scrubbed through my footage to find the best possible moment, and I think this would be a good place to start. So I'm going to hit Q and scrub forward. And I can see at this moment, you can see our camera starts to move slightly right, and I don't want that, so I'm going to cut just before by clicking W. This gives us a super stable track forward. And once again, because we speed up near the end of our clip here, what we want to do is apply speed up to the top of this clip. So go to your speed, go to curve and apply a flash in, drag this all the way to 10 times and remove this curve. What we're going to do for this clip is remove this keyframe by clicking the minus, and that just leaves us with a smooth curve, just like that. Once you're happy, go ahead and duplicate that clip, hit reverse on your second clip. And again, on our second clip, let's go ahead and go to speed and curve and change up our speed curve by dragging our first one down and our second one up. You can see if I click play here, it creates a really nice yo-yo effect where we're tracking in and then we're tracking out. One of our components to a viral speed ramp was timing the cut points and the speed ramp to our song. CapCut makes this super easy. Selected on your song, you can go ahead and hit that AI marker and then select beats 2. CapCut is going to identify all the prominent beats in the song for us to cut to. I mean, it couldn't be easier. From here, I can go ahead and compound my two clips and make them faster to time them exactly to the marker. Before we move to some of the other clips, let's take note of the movement of this shot. It's moving backwards, so we need to match this motion with another clip. Matching the motion between two clips helps the transition feel as smooth as butter. You can see in my shot 3 that we're moving from close up to out, the same motion as our previous clip. Compound your clips and let's go ahead and time them to those markers. I'm going to go ahead and do some of the other clips until we get to a change in how we want that speed curve to look, giving us a different effect on the motion of the clip. For these next couple of shots, I don't want to do the rebound effect, so I'm going to have to apply a bit of a different speed ramp. I'm going to go to speed, hit curve, and select custom curve. Now I'm going to drag our first and our last keyframes to 10 times and delete the two side keyframes. This is going to leave us with the middle keyframe and something that looks like this. Once again, we can go ahead and compound that and retime it to the beat. And on this clip, we have a similar motion, just in the wrong direction, so I'm going to go ahead and hit reverse. Let's go ahead and trim our clip to where we want to use it, and we can apply the same speed curve as what we just applied before. Custom, drag our two to the top, remove these, compound your clip, and retime it to the marker. Let's keep applying the same thinking to the next few clips. Because this clip has a moment where our camera is tracking forward and that kind of side diagonal movement, I think it's going to be great to use this clip to transition back into some linear, straight, or backwards movement. So let me go ahead and place that. You can see we're moving from left to right here. And in this shot, we also start moving left to right. So I'm going to start from about here where our clip is moving from left to right, and we can follow the same steps. Instead of using our custom curve, I'm going to go back to flash in, delete this, and delete that. Now to return back to our previous motion, I'm going to go ahead and duplicate that clip, reverse it, and now I'm going to drag our back portion up a little bit to reveal some of that initial top end of the footage that is going to enable us to cut back into that straight motion. For our clip that's going to return us back to the normal motion, I'm going to let it skip over one of those markers so we have a bit of a longer clip. All of the steps that we're doing now are just the fundamental speed ramping steps. We still need to add our secret sauce that's really going to differentiate this speed ramp from any other. Because our second last clip is moving backwards, I'm going to start our last clip moving backwards as well, and that's going to take us from inside the house to outside the house. Now that that base of your speed ramp is done and you have something that looks smooth, it's time to add those extra elements that transform it from just being a basic speed ramp into something that grabs attention and can go viral. The first thing we're going to do is disable our music track and go to the intro where we have our house moving out and then back to in. On my keyboard, I'm going to select I and go to one frame, back, and select O. This is going to select in and out points that we can export for that intro sequence. Go ahead and click export, and let's export this sequence. Just be sure that your duration is not over 3 seconds. I'm then going to go ahead and find 2 more portions in my sequence, somewhere in the middle and possibly the end, where I want a cool effect to apply. Now go to a site called Go Enhance, create an account, and you get 45 credits where you can upload all of these videos. I'm going to go ahead and start on our first one. Once my video is uploaded, it gives us a preview, and look how smooth that is. Now go to Style and select a style that you want your video to be in. I'm going to choose GPT anime style, select that. And for my prompt, I've just said change my video into the GPT anime style, maintaining the smoothness. Once you're happy with your style and prompt, go ahead and click generate. While that anime style intro that's going to grab our viewer and hopefully create a viral speed ramp is busy generating, let's go ahead and add the other secret sauce. On each of your clips, go ahead and select them, scroll down, and select motion blur. Now typically 100 is a little bit much for me, but you can go ahead and tune this to your liking. Go ahead and use your arrow keys to go through your footage, and you can see there when it is moving fast, we get a whack load of motion blur. So I'm going to go ahead and tune that down to about 35. I think that looks much better. We have the motion blur on the side, but you can still see there's some sharpness where we're not moving as much. I'm going to go ahead and apply motion blur to all of the clips throughout the sequence, and this is going to help blend the cut points. While applying your motion blur, you can see that sometimes when there's a lot of motion in the image, it creates a black outline on our image. What we're going to do in this case is select on my image and scale it in by a couple percent. Just remember that when you scale it in, copy the exact percent that you scaled it in and apply it to the matching clip. This then, you can see when we scrub through, removes that black from underneath it. You can see in this case, the pretty sharp and beautiful chandelier has now been wrecked. So I'm going to go ahead and select that and turn down my motion blur so it doesn't have such a dramatic effect on the lights. I think 12 looks much better. Our goal here is to remove any artifacting and blending of the actual image and just apply cool, crisp motion blur when we have fast motion. Now that your motion blur is applied to all your clips, I'm going to go back to Go Enhance, and we can see our clip is finally done. I'm going to select download, and that's going to download that file onto our computer. You can see Go Enhance has created this incredible anime effect. If I go ahead and deselect that, it's perfectly sunk up with the house, but it looks so cool. Now, there's just one thing. Go Enhance has put their watermark in the bottom right. So what we're going to do is scale it in to remove that watermark. We've scaled it in by 120%. You can see now when we see what's underneath, our house isn't perfectly the same size. So I'm going to need to select both these clips and select 120%. Now what I want to do is go to this cut point, make a cut point on my clip, and I can delete this back half. I'm then going to delete this first half of my clip and move this portion back into our intro. We now have a shot that moves from our anime style to normal. I want to apply a transition between these two clips. I found a transition that works really nice is the chamois wipe transition. Go ahead and drag that over and let's see how that looks. You can see we go from anime style and then we have a wipe effect and we go back to normal. Let's go back to Go Enhance and select a new clip that we can apply the effect to. I'm going to use House 2. While we're waiting for that anime style to apply to our second clip, it's time to move into the next component of virality, whooshes. Go to your audio tab in CapCut and go down to sound effects. Now search for whoosh and you get access to a whole bunch of different whooshes that we can use. By clicking, I tend to prefer deep whooshes rather than the higher pitch sound whooshes that come across faster. Let's go ahead and drag that first deep whoosh onto our timeline and position that right when we go into the house. Generally leaving it at 0 volume is a bit too loud, so go ahead and bring that down. It's also a good time to re-enable your music track so you can see how that sound effect balances with your music. A cool sound effects hint is to scroll down until you find reverb. This creates an almost echoey reverb effect for our sound effects, which help add some depth to those. What I'm going to do now is scrub through different sound effects that CapCut has and apply it to wherever we have a speed ramp. We can now apply our second Go Enhance anime effect once we've done our sound effects. I know I did the stairs for my House 2 shot, so I'm going to time it up with the stairs, What I think is cool is to time the effect to turn on as soon as we hear this chime and beat drop right here. So our clip starts normal, and as we hear that, we transition into the clip. And finally, it's time to apply the last effect to environmentalize this. We've done the whooshes, we've done the motion blur, we're now adding some secret sauce with the anime style. What else could there possibly be? You're going to environmentalize with sound effects. Because we're dealing with real estate, I want to hear things like doorbells ringing, maybe a dog bark, different things like that that generally we would hear when we're in a house. If you're doing something for a car, think about engine noises, brake noises, and different sounds that cars make. And try to think, if you're doing not real estate or cars, try to think about the environmental sounds that a person who's standing in your environment may hear. This helps add such an incredible layer of depth to your sound design. By going to the audio tab, I'm going to type doorbell. I think that sounds great. Now let's just find a place to apply it, and I think we're going to apply it to the beginning as we go into the house. I'm also going to apply a dog bark. I think that sounds awesome. And let's see if we can find a meow sound. Let's go ahead and search camera shutter and see if we can create an almost picture effect. I think that sounds great, so let's go ahead and drag that onto this shot. I really like the take selfie effect for this moment because it has a white flash, again as if somebody's taking a selfie. We can change our speed slider to determine exactly when we want that flash to happen. I want it on this cut point. As we slow down, which I think looks great, and we can go ahead and time our camera shutter to exactly where that flash happens. I can import my last Go Enhance video. I think I wanted to transition back to normal on this beat, so I'm going to go ahead and trim this back portion, select this bottom clip, create a blade point, and let's go ahead and drag that in. Oh, wow. Lastly, what we're going to do is make sure that our video looks good. So I'm going to apply an adjustment layer onto our whole timeline. And you can see that adjustment layer has helped add a bit more color. I think my saturation maybe is slightly too high, so I can go ahead and bring that down, bring my contrast down, and just make sure that your clip looks really visually appealing. This isn't just an amateur speed ramp. This is something that has motion blur, smooth transitions, great sound design. It's time to the beat. It hooks you in from the first 2 seconds. It looks good, it feels good, and it's something that is going to go viral. Follow these steps and you can apply them to any footage that you have to create any speed ramp. I'll see you in the next video.